All right, thank you for staying with Daybreak. We're continuing the discussion here. My guests are still with me, Willis Otieno, lawyer and deputy party leader, Safina Party, Joe Alende, advocate of the High Court, Kathy Rungu, political commentator, and Paul Mugambi, policy and governance analyst. Paul, I'll come to you to this. There's something that Willis was raising before I bring in Alende and Kathy, that the same outrage of the ills that are facing the nation are not seen by the same political class. And he says that the outrage of the people who are killed should be topmost.
I think I admire Willis, the lawyer. Now that he's a politician, I don't know what goes wrong with politicians. Now he's making politically correct statements in a national television. Instead of just sticking to the basics. Look, all these are important conversations in our country, by the way. We condemned the abductions, the killings, and maiming of Kenyans, and even other wrongs that happen every day in our country. Wanton theft of public resources. Our county is really doing anything. Our 47 devolved units, what is happening in our counties? So instead of sticking to basics, we are now summoning emotions. We are talking about impeachment, and suddenly it's about killings. You know, if it was a conversation about Gen Zs and demonstrations, talk about the events of 16th of June, fantastic. 18th of June, fantastic, until it started going wrong at around 25th of June. And I think the revolution that was to happen never happened. If at all we went with the same pace that was exuded by the events of the 16th of June and the 18th of June, the Tuesday and the Thursday, when we had over 40,000 Kenyans, in the streets, non-violent. Yeah. Critically, even the police didn't know how to deal with them.
But does he have a point when he says that this impeachment of the deputy president is not among the priorities for the nation?
Okay, what is the priority? How do we elevate one conversation over the other? The House Business Committee of the National Assembly allocates business, all right, to different motions and bills that come before Parliament, before the National Assembly or before the Senate, whichever house. And in this case, there are several other. You can't say that this is the only thing that the Parliament in this session has passed. There are many other things that they have debated and passed. Why are we not looking at them? Yeah. So how do we elevate one conversation over the other? When we are summoned to make objective conversations, we cannot always run to whip emotions. Okay. Yeah, speaking the same language as the former Deputy President Gachagua. That when you're cornered, you talk about the mountain. When you're cornered, talk about my people. In any case, in real essence, you're talking about yourself. So I wonder why we need to go that route when we can stick to simple basics. This is
the issue at hand.
Path for the country. Yeah. This is not. The deputy president was impeached on this ground. Was this right? Was this wrong? We cannot hold these opinions in a simple way.
Okay, Joe.
Yes, I want to ask the deputy party leader of Safina Party. I'm the chairman of UDA Founder Association. Oh. And I want to ask him if the former deputy president now has moved to Safina Party, because defending it seems he's a party member. Because what I know, after the impeachment yesterday, the deputy president, the former deputy president, is also going to be.
You're going to impeach him from UDA?
Yes.
Oh, really?
He is no longer a UDA member. So let me
I'll give you a chance.
Now to
answer now or later?
No, you'll
because. When we started with the first ground of undermining national unity, my learned friend accepted that yes, it is an impeachable ground, and it ends like that. The former deputy president is impeached. One single ground amounts to an impeachment. So there is no way. Yes, there are other grounds which do not meet the threshold, but those ones, these 5 grounds that have been substantiated and have met the threshold, we accept them and move on.
Okay.
If what should?
But his argument was that it's not a priority.
What actually what should be of concern is the procedure. Did it follow the due process? But an impeachment process is a political process. And if you are to talk about priorities, yes, it is a priority. You had to remove your uncontrolled deputy president to get somebody who can come in and do the job. You know, we can't be doing elections, we can't be doing politics from 2022 to 2027, day in, day out. The former deputy president lost control, lost track, disappeared somewhere else. He started politicking. If you remember very well, he came aggressively against the young parliamentarians who were helping the president to move around the country. He was against Ndidi Nyoro, he was against Kimani Ichung'wah, he was against Oscar Sudi, for basically moving around the country with the president, helping him to deliver on his mandate. So these are the things that, these are the reality of today and the realignment of today. So it is something that we need to move forward as a country very fast. And it's an opportunity that the president needs to take, because the buck stops with him. Let him call his troop to order and redirect them to deliver to Kenyans.
Okay, Kathy?
I think the issues that have been raised by the Deputy Party Leader of Safina, Willis here, should not be trivialized, because he has raised key issues, you know, to do with the Gen Z killings and the abductions, which are actually real issues, and most of us came out and condemned the killing, the killings and the abduction of our young people. And even today, I think these are issues that still leave a lot of questions that are unanswered, and I think it is only fair that we also give Kenyans answers. So that is important. Now, having said that, I think we've been treated to enough political gimmicks and innuendos by the former deputy president. And our hope moving forward is that we are going to get a deputy president who is ready to work, so that at least we can get to service delivery, because this is what the people need. And I think the way I look at it, the deputy president has been on a campaign trail, actually decampaigning the president. If they were not separated by the law, you know, or by through impeachment, like they have been separated, I'm 100% sure that he was going to run against the president.
You're saying he was decampaigning the president?
Yes.
He says he was being a truthful man.
I don't think so. I remember one time in Naivasha where he said, I'm not going to promise you any roads, because I'm a truthful man and I'm not going to lie.
There's no money. That's what he said. He justified.
No, I as a principal assistant to the head of state, that was uncalled.
Should he have lied to the people?
No, I don't.
No, I don't even. I don't even
money
think.
For it?
No, I don't, because we are told that roads are still being done, and we have seen that even in papers. After all, even today you can see a lot of adverts, you know, asking people to apply and you know, do roads and stuff like that. Yeah, things are still happening.
You mean on my gov?
I mean,
now you can get.
We have two realities. The first question I want to answer is this.
Have you invited?
We have not invited Deputy Gachagua to Safina. He belongs to Kenya Kwanza. That is their skunk. Stay with their skunk.
Live with it.
Live with it. But as an advocate, and I told you Safina is about social consciousness. Yes. We are social consciousness that the rights of everybody must be respected. You may not like Rigathi Gachagua as a person, but Rigathi Gachagua is a human being who has rights enshrined in the Constitution. I am all about the process that they are using to get rid of Rigathi Gachagua. My process that I had hoped was we meet in an election, I defeat him. Their process is to lynch him and undermine his rights. Don't even allow him an opportunity to speak. That is my problem with their process. Even the grounds that they are bringing to us here. The grounds are base.
So you're complaining because you missed the battle with him?
No, not that I missed the battle. I was going to defeat him anyway, even the one they are going to bring next. I'm just waiting for him. No, in my mother tongue, they sing the song, Papa Wenenga, Papa Weno Tieno Kwesi, Ngamadu Arotobi. So I'm saying, waiting for them to bring the next person. We'll compete and I will defeat that one also, on substance. Okay. But of import is this. You know, when I say that, and with respect to my colleagues, I know it's not that they were anti the Gen Z, or they have not spoken. They've spoken about the Gen Z issues and even the killings. I'm simply saying that let us not be moralistic in the sense that we now want to elevate political conversation and politicians solving their problems to be such an important thing that now we are angry that someone has spoken badly, has political rhetoric is very bad, is dividing the nation. But when someone is killing Kenyans, these are factual, 60 Kenyans died, dead. Forced disappearance, abductions are taking place. We should, in equal measure and with the same voice, demand of the very minimum that William Ruto himself be impeached, or the IG of police should be, we are having a essential motion against him in Parliament. We should be having a vote of no confidence against the IG in Parliament, against Amin, the DCI.
Now that is
but you cannot say that it is so, this thing of Gachagua is so bad, that talking Murima is so bad that it takes priority that we overlook the deaths and the police misconduct in the period when the Gen Zs have been exercising their rights.
All right.
And I want to say this also.
Yeah.
You know, to the credit of Kenya Kwanza, they've managed to change the national conversation to try to distract us from their failed economic policies that we're now reduced to discussing their failed politics. Because the issue that I'm listening to my colleagues on the right saying is failed politics of Kenya Kwanza. That's their politics. Regarding not liking Dindi, not liking Sudi. Who likes Sudi anyway? Not liking, who was that other one? Nishungwa. I mean, that is their internal politics. That should not concern us that now we change the national conversation to discuss how they're having their own internal wars.
Okay.
But to the extent they have done so, kudos, you've tried. But in Safina, social consciousness, you will not distract us. Eyes on the ball. We care more about those Kenyans who've been abducted, the ones who've died, about the cost of living, about their Dani, theft of our airport, about the shift share, about the JSS teachers. Those are the things that we care about and we'll always talk about. That's why even here, I must still bring these my subject topics, even as much as I'm now engaging on their issue.
All right, I'd like us to talk about what does this mean politically. But first, let's take a quick sample from the people, and let's speak to John Wanyama. He's in Eldoret there. John, good morning. What are the people's sentiments after the impeachment?
A very good morning to you, Trevor, and the guests in studio. In Eldoret City, Uasin Gishu County, of course, most of the Kenyans woke up to a very shocking news, something that has never happened in our history, but it has happened for the first time since this, maybe we got the independence in this country. And they are here, Trevor. Let me talk to them to hear about and we sample their views. My brother, unaitwa nani jina lako? Maswala ambayo uliona jana Gachagua amebanduliwa, ameondoka.
Tuliwa na bunge la Seneti na National Assembly kwa kuwa commit a lot of political crime and gross misconduct that violated a lot of his constitutional rights. Na kwa hivyo itakuwa funzo kwa wengine ambao watafuata mienendo na tabia sawa na yake, wakijua kuna wakati atangolewa. Asanteni.
Pengine ni nini uliona, kipengele gani uliona kilifaa kumuondoa Gachagua?
Kipengele ya kusema ya abuse office na misconduct about harassing public officers. Yeah, that was the main. Ndiyo.
Asante sana. Ndugu yangu unaitwa nani? Ulionaje kuhusu jana?
Okay, kwa majina naitwa Cyrus Kemboi. Jana nilikuwa naona kwamba Kenya tumegrow kwa upande wa economy. Sasa mimi nilikuwa naona jana upande wa Senate walifanya mzuri sana. Democracy tumefanya mzuri, na pia kwa upande wa Gachagua mimi niliona Senate walifanya mzuri. Ilionyesha kwamba hii katiba yetu ya 2010 imeanza kufanya kazi mzuri. Kwa upande mwingine pia nilikuwa naomba ya kwamba rais pia akuwe ni mtu wa kufanya mambo kwa njia inayostahili. So kwa sisi watu wa Uasin Gishu, sisi tunasema ya kwamba rais fanya kazi. Saa hii miaka 3 imepaki, tumikia wananchi kwa njia mzuri. Tusikue ni unaahidi watu na auitimisi ile ahadi yenye ulisema. Kwa mfano, tumekuwa tukiambiwa ya kwamba tumetenga, lakini ikifika action hatuoni. So ni wakati wako, learn through your friend. Yesterday ilionyesha kwamba hata wapunge wanaweza kukujia wewe rais. So rais, do your work better than the way you are. So asante.
Asante. Kwa majina naitwa Kevin, the youth president wa Uasin Gishu County. Tumeona yale maneno yamefanyika kule bunge, kule Senate, na sisi kama watu wa Uasin Gishu County tungependa kuambia mzee Rigathi Gachagua, ile speed Rigathi Gachagua alipitia haikuwa speed ya ile speed Rigathi Gachagua alikuwa amepitia haikuwa ile speed ya kusaidia raia. Raia wa nchi ya Kenya walikuwa wanahitaji maendeleo. Raia wa nchi ya Kenya walikuwa wanahitaji kuongeleshwa. Ile kitu Rigathi Gachagua alikuwa mahiri raia. Alikuwa mahiri raia kwamba atakuja kufanya economic forums ili wasaidie mama mboga, asaidie mtu wa bodaboda, asaidie mtu wa mkokoteni. Lakini baadaye tukakuja kuona Rigathi Gachagua alikuja kufanya siasa. Akaenda kule Mlima, akawacha watu wa Rift Valley, akawacha watu wa Nyanza, akawacha watu wa kule Coast. Akaenda kule kwa Mlima peke yake. Na sisi kama vijana tulikuwa tunahitaji naibu wa rais ambaye anaserve wananchi, naibu wa rais ambaye anaserve kila mtu nchini Kenya. Na tungependa kuomba rais wa Kenya wetu ambaye anaitwa William Samoei Ruto, ambaye ni rais tunampenda sana huku Uasin Gishu, tungemwambia rais ule deputy president ambaye unaenda kumchagua akuwe ni deputy president ambaye atakuja kuserve wananchi wa Kenya mzima, watu kama Kimani Ichung'wah, watu kama Ndindi Nyoro tumeona amfanyia watu maendeleo sana kule Kiaru constituency. Na tungependa apewe nafasi ili akuje asaidie wa Kenya. Ametembea, kama kuna mjumbe mmoja ametembea nchini Kenya ni Ndindi Nyoro. Na tungependa watu kama waone wapewe nafasi ili wasaidie wa Kenya. Kitu kingine, wale wajumbe ambao walitangulia kuimpeach the deputy president, tungependa kuambia raia, kama mjumbe wako waliparticipate katika kuimpeach deputy, tungependa kuambia raia, kama mjumbe wako waliparticipate katika kuimpeach deputy president, pia participate katika kutengeneza policies ambayo ni ya maendeleo ya nchi ya Kenya. Wasikuwe tu katika mstari wa mbele kuunda policies ya kuimpeach deputy president, lakini ikifika kuunda policies ya kutengeneza maendeleo ya nchi ya Kenya hawako katika mstari wa mbele. Na kama mjumbe wako wafanyi kazi, ni afadhali tuanze kuimpeach wajumbe ambao wafanyi kazi, pia waende nyumbani, waende watangulie, waende nyumbani kule village. Otherwise ile kitu imefanyika Senate ilikuwa kitu ya maana, na Senate walituonyesha uongozi mzuri. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana. Ndugu yangu naitwa na.
Kwa majina ya Pio Boniface, mimi ni mkazi wa Uasin Gishu. Kwanza napongeza bunge letu ya Kenya kwa kufanya kazi nzuri ile ya kwanza. Tena napongeza Senate ile kazi walifanya mzuri. Kitu kwanza, sisi tuchagua president yetu au super president Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Kazi yake iko smart. Na chenye ilifanyika, ule jamaa alichagua akuwe msaidizi wake, alikuwa mtu aisaidia, alikuwa na ukabila ya hali ya juu. So tunaomba tu our super president akienda kuchagua deputy yake, akae chini polepole, achagua ule mwenye tamsaidia kazi. For example, tuko na mheshimiwa mwingine tu MC yetu ya Race Course Amos Kiptanui kutoka Elgeyo Marakwet, anafanya kazi bila ubaguzi. Na akae kama Mo. Sasa mwenye anachagua deputy yake akuwe mtu ya kuchapa kazi, na sikue aseme huyu achape kazi. Ya mwisho, mambo ya kusema kuva driver kwa tanboy hakuna hapa. Ruto anaendesha gari vizuri, tanboy akae kando, Ruto aendelee na engineer Raila na Mudavadi. Hiyo ndio tu.
Asante sana. Mama, pengine tusikie sauti yako. Kuna mama hapa ameogopa, ndugu yangu, njoo hapa. Pengine maoni yako ni yapi kuhusiana na swala hili? Njoo hapa.
Kutoka sasa mtu ni villager sasa. Sasa kazi iendelee. Saizi ni villager. Kazi iendelee.
Thank you very much, Trevor. As you have heard from Uasin Gishu, specifically the residents of Eldoret City, as they are saying they are happy for whatever happened yesterday in the Senate, but also it's coming as a warning to the leaders, especially a member of parliament or any leader who are not working. They are saying this is an avenue, again, that they will be facing the wananchi on the ground. If you are not working, if you are not doing what you are promised, then there is an avenue again for you to be impeached. Trevor.
Thanks, John. Onyama there speaking to us live from Eldoret City, and you can hear the sentiments of the people speaking about just hours after the deputy president was impeached, and the Gazette notice is already out by the Speaker of the Senate, Amason Kingi, declaring that the deputy president now stands impeached and ceases to hold office. Let's now take examples of the people's voices on this. Kamau Mwangi is joining us from Nyeri. Kamau, good morning. It's good to see you. What are the people of Nyeri saying?
Well, a not so good morning here in Nyeri, Trevor, because their son, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, having lost his seat yesterday via that Senate decision to agree with the National Assembly in regards to the number of charges that had been taken to that particular house, ending at 766 days of their son at the helm of Kenya's second most powerful seat. And this is Nyeri town, this early. Nyeri mostly is not a town that is known to rise early. And this is the main streets in this particular town's CBD. Activities are yet to resume fully because the town will get alive at around 10 a.m., where business persons and those who work in those different offices around the county will be getting to work. Now, I've been speaking to a couple of residents here over the last few weeks when this particular debate and motion was tabled in the National Assembly, and of course varying opinions in regards to the same. And I will be speaking to a couple of taxi operators here in Nyeri town who were really hopeful that the Senate could have saved their son. Na nitaanza na wewe hapa, kwa majina utaniambia unaitwa nani, alafu tueleze kufuatia yale maamuzi ya Seneti siku ya jana. Unajisikia vipi? Unaona kama Seneti ilifanya jambo la busara?
Kwa majina najulikana kama Mike Foley. Naweza sema Senate hajatufanyia haki, na probably tulikuwa tunadhania at least hii impeachment ya Gachagua at least wangefanya justice, but tuliona somehow kuna pesa imemwagwa. Hii ni mpango umepangwa. Si ni sahihi ati wamepangia kufanyia Rigathi impeachment. Naona ni kitu walikuwa wamepanga, na we are so sad. Kuna mnaweza anzia na mtu kitu let alone akuwa na kugeuzia. Ametumia, tunaweza sema Ruto ametumia Gachagua kama bridge. Wakati amevuka hii ngambo ndio ameona sasa anaweza bomoa hiyo bridge abaki ile side. Wamemtumia, na sisi wa Kikuyu we are so sad.
Na ujumbe pengine kwa wabunge, kwa rais?
Wabunge nao we are so frustrated by them, by the way. Since ile siku walikuwa wanavote tuliona vyenye walifanya. Najua hii yote ni project imepangiwa, na wacha Gachagua wasema waende nyumbani, but what we know, sisi wa Kikuyu hatujai kuwa wajinga, na hatutawahi tena kuchaguana kwa emotion. Like tuliona tulichaguana kwa emotion ati tunatetea Ruto naende huyo anakuja kutugeuzia, but we are not happy at all.
Acha nizungumze na huyu. Kwa majina unaitwa nani? Baada ya Seneti jana, unajisikia vipi kama mkazi wa Nyeri county ambayo anayotoka mtoto wenu Gachagua?
Kwa majina ni David Delito. Sahi mimi nasikia nimeumia sana. Rigathi Gachagua tulikuwa na matarajio atamaliza tamu yake akiwa deputy president, lakini sasa Seneti ilimuimpeach akiwa hospitali. Kwani Gachagua hana mtetezi? Kwani ni makosa gani Rigathi Gachagua amefanya? Seneti haigesimamisha hiyo kitu mpaka Tuesday. Na nisikia mbunge mwingine wa Nyandarua wakisema kuna simu ilikuwa inatoka Sugoi ya pleasure lazima uvote. Kwani Gachagua amewafanyia nini? Mr. President, hiyo kitu usitupe, upatiane Sugoi. Uko simu zilikuwa zinatoka, pea kina Sudi huko. Sisi watu wanyia tutaki kiti yako tena. Na next time 2027 tutapatana kwa debe. Na kwanza mbunge wangu, mimi siku kutuma uende uka impeach Rigathi Gachagua. Utarudi tu na lobby ukangoe watu meno.
Asante. Kwa majina unaitwa nani tukienda kumalizia?
Kwa majina naitwa Gachagua Kagesha. Mimi sina furaha hata kidogo kwa yale yote wametenda huyu mkubwa wetu. President tumeona amelipa mazuri kwa mabaya. Kwa wabunge na maseneta wetu tumeona hawezi present watu huko, wanataka kupresent pesa yao ya mfuko.
Asante. Tumalize na huyu kwa majina ndugu kwa haraka.
Kwa majina naitwa Githaiga. Kwanza niko na masikitiko makubwa sana kwa yale yaliyotufanyikia jana usiku. Ningependa watu wa mlima ambao ni watu wa Mount Kenya, kabla tuchague mtu, hatutachagua mtu kwa merit ati yeye ni mtoto wa single mother, sijui ni mtoto hana wazazi. Tuangalie tuone. Tutakuwa tunaangalia masomo ya mtu, na pia miaka ya mtu. Juu tumepigwa na butoa kuona tumechagua vijana wadogo ambao wamefika huko wamedanganywa na pesa kidogo. So ningependa ile tuangalie miaka kabisa, ati sio mtu anaenda hapo kutuuza na pesa kidogo.
Yeah. Asante sana. Now, Trevor, quite a number of lessons learned there by locals of this particular county, just giving their varying opinions in regards to what happened yesterday. We will be keeping tabs to just get a feel of how the county will be throughout the day. We are made to understand that security has been beefed up around the county. We are yet to see that. We are yet to see those police vehicles roaming around towns, but of interest will be Karatina town, the headquarters of Mathera constituency where Rigathi Gachagua comes from, and a town that sometimes becomes volatile with such happenings around the country. So we will be keeping tabs on that as well. Just to nirejeshe kwako studio, Trevor.
Asante sana Kamau Mwangi. Thank you so much for speaking to us live from Nyeri there and getting the people's reaction on this issue of the impeachment of the Deputy President in Eldoret as well. Very varied views there. And Willis, let me bring you in on this. Is this the point where as a nation we are never able to separate political issues and personal interests? Because you can tell even from the way the people are speaking, the people in Eldoret are supporting, the people in Nyeri say that this is an affront on us.
You know, if you look at it in terms of how Kenya Kwanza was mobilized, you'll naturally expect that the majority of people in Eldoret were supporting Kenya Kwanza, majority of people in Central were supporting Kenya Kwanza. And the foundation of Kenya Kwanza was tribe. The primary tribes that founded Kenya Kwanza was Kikuyu and Kalenjin. And that is why you are seeing the kind of conversation that is going on. So the one that is feeling their person who was representing the tribe is out. The people from Nyeri are saying this is like betrayal. And rightfully so, because what Kenya Kwanza sold to them was a tribal combination, a tribal coalition. You are represented in our coalition as the deputy president. The Kalenjins will feel represented as the president. So when they remove this person, they're trying to use the grounds of tribe that he was inciting, creating national disunity. That was the foundation. It's betrayal of Rigathi Gachagua and his supporters.
So then it's shareholder conversation.
It was a shareholder conversation. They are justified. In fact, they are justified even if you see what is happening here. The people in Nyeri who supported Rigathi Gachagua, they bought into Kenya Kwanza as a tribal coalition. And they knew Rigathi Gachagua was representing their interests in that tribal coalition. That's the politics that as Safina we don't believe in. As we believe in, we are going to have an issue-based politics, an ideology that informs our politics. Because when we talk about the economy, when the economy is painful to a person in Taita, it's the same economy that is painful to somebody in Teso. So that we all come joined together on an ideology, not tribe. But theirs is a foundation of tribe, so it is naturally expected for them to react the way they are reacting. The perceived Kalenjin region is happy because they think Gachagua was giving their man a hard time. The perceived Rigathi region is unhappy because they feel they have been betrayed by their erstwhile partners. And there will be political consequences. And the first political consequence, in my view, on this is first you are going to see the tribal foundation of Kenya Kwanza will collapse. Because that was their foundation, they betrayed each other, it can't continue. And the emerging new force will be a force that says, what can we have that we can have a promise on, that even there is no betrayal of a tribe or betrayal of an idea. And that is the new politics that Safina speaks about. We are going to have a new issue-based, ideology-driven politics. It is going to be us versus them, and us being the people of Kenya, who is for the best interest of the Kenyan, versus who is for the best interest of the politician. We put all these politicians on one side, and we have Kenyans on this other side. And we are saying, for you to emerge as a leader, for you to be elected as a leader, you must commit and we must understand your background. Are you somebody who is for the best interest of the Kenyan or the best interest of the politician? To an extent that if we say, for you to be elected member of parliament, you commit, we are going to reduce your salary, for example, by half. Because it's not about you, it's about the people. So we reduce salaries of members of parliament by half, all of them. Governors reduce their salaries by half, all of them. Then you are committed that it is not about you going to get self-actualization. You're not going to aggrandize, accumulate wealth, but service. You're going to serve the people.
How do you do that without cannibalizing independent institutions like the Salaries and Remuneration Commission? It's not for a president or a deputy president or any other person, a politician, to wake up and say, I'm reducing your salary.
Maybe you didn't get my point. I'm not saying I'm saying about the people to be elected. The person as is campaigning, he is committing that those who are on our side, we are committing that when we get into office, we are pro-people.
Absolutely.
The first step is we are committing that we are going to reduce our salaries. So you'll sign a commitment and sign it up. Even if you are offered, you say, I'm only taking half of it. The rest can be donated to a state agency. So the house we can always achieve. But it is a commitment to the people that we must be clear that anybody who seeks public office, you should be going there to serve, not to earn.
Paul, you have an issue with that, but the how can actually be achieved. I mean, even the president, we saw him saying that me and my deputy have said that we don't want an increase, despite that it was actually legal by the SRC to increase their salary, but they said they don't want it. So if you make a commitment on your own, then there's nothing legal about that.
I've worked in Parliament for about 10 years, and I saw some members trying to advance some populist tendencies, saying they are during the difficult times, for instance, when they were deciding to cut 1/3 of their salaries, where do you take that money to? Who do you pay that money to? What does it do? You're hired here today, Trevor, by Royal Media Services. They have a HR department. You don't decide how much you earn. Maybe you negotiate the contract out there when you're joining, and that's about it. As to how the HR and accounts people pay you, it's up to them. You cannot be the one employing yourself, deciding for yourself your salary. Because if we say that, we're going to go for the independent institutions and try to cripple them to advance political expediency. And I think that is not how we need to approach this.
All right, let's come back to the conversation we're having today. In Eldoret and Nyeri, you've heard what the people are saying. Should the deputy president be picked from that region now? What happens politically as a governance expert? Because you see, the people from Eldoret are supporting this, at least the ones that have been spoken to. The people in Nyeri are really against it. And of course, Willis was saying that there's going to be political ramifications, and there's almost like some discord in the political pact. Should the president pick someone from Mount Kenya, will that relationship be essentially mended? Because we are actually getting information that there is a meeting at State House right now, anytime from now. As soon as we get more details, we'll bring it to you. That meeting is expected to head all the way to the National Assembly, where there's a special sitting that's supposed to start at 9:30 a.m. So as soon as we have more details, we'll give it to you. But if the president appoints someone from Mount Kenya region, does then that mend the seemingly fractured relationship?
I don't think that will be like an immediate remedy. It's not. It will not be instant coffee, so to speak. There's a lot of ground to cover partly because the former deputy president managed to whip emotions around the mountain, especially the west part of the mountain, the counties of Nyeri, where he comes from, Murang'a, Kiambu, Nyandarua, and perhaps Kirinyaga. The majority of the people there, based on the surveys that have been released by independent agencies like private agencies like TIFA and Infotrack, we've seen even they highly rejected the impeachment motion. It goes without saying, because it comes from that area, that region, and our politics are largely mobilized by 4 factors. One of them being ethnicity, and 2, resources, and thirdly, political party, and 4th, some intangible thing called charisma. So the first one, which is ethnicity, applies here, and I think in this case the former deputy president tried his best to whip the emotions of the west side of the mountain, with a 2027 eye in mind. What the president will do, and we'll see that in the National Assembly at 9:30 a.m. I've seen the alert that the head of public service, Felix Kosgei, will be delivering the new appointee of a deputy president at Parliament buildings in the National Assembly, the office of the Speaker, at 9:30 a.m. So maybe in a couple of minutes, we'll be able to know who that is. And I think if there is a reporter in the east side of the mountain, it's important to sample the views in Meru Tharaka Nithi, Embu, and see what people are saying. I am sure they'll be very excited to have the position, even Nyeri people don't want it. And I'm certain one of their sons is one of the people being considered, Professor Kithure Kindiki being considered to replace the former deputy president. That, in a way, tries to cure the issue. So in a way that even if the west side of the mountain do not vote for, do not support the president 100% moving forward, perhaps the east side of the mountain, you can have part of the mountain and try to get support from other parts of the country and see whether Western and Nyanza with the new partners ODM and see whether you can retain the presidency.
Okay, and Kathy, I'll come to you as well because you come from that region. Will it matter if the person elected is from that region? Or can the president, politically speaking, should he just take a different tangent altogether?
I think it will matter, and it is fair if the person that will be nominated again for the position of the deputy president comes from the Mount Kenya region.
Okay.
Yeah.
So taking a different tangent would be tantamount to a complete betrayal now?
Not really, but looking at even the front runners, you know, the people who have, and it was, at some point I actually felt like there were some characters who were campaigning to become the deputy president now. People really put their best foot forward, and I even saw, for example, Governor Anne Waiguru. She really did an intense campaign, and that was beautiful. We wouldn't really mind a female deputy president. But then I think as we speak right now, Professor Kithure Kindiki is a front runner and maybe the possible replacement for Rigathi Gachagua. Why do I say that would be a good thing? The east part of the mountain has always supported the west part of the mountain from time immemorial, from the time of our first president, Jomo Kenyatta, until today, when we had Rigathi Gachagua as the deputy president. And I think even the people of the West, it is just fair. We do what we say in Kikuyu, Goshokia Guoko, you know, if it gets to that point.
Kurudisha mikono.
Kurudisha mikono.
Okay. Joe?
What we are seeing is actually the ripple effect of allowing politics of exclusivity to be the order of the day, of allowing politics of balkanization and ethnicity to be the order of the day. Generally, that's what will happen. That is the ripple effect of allowing such things. But I'm happy that today as a country, we must have a conversation, a honest conversation of bringing everybody on board. My brother has highlighted here some 4 key issues that when you are doing politics, you must have them. The resources, the political party, the stronghold that we are calling your tribe backing you. But if we want to do the issue-based politics that my brother is talking about for Safina Party, let us have national political parties, not just outlook, but where you bring everybody on board and you discuss issues. But by disintegrating and going to form regional political parties, you bring these tensions, we will continue having this tension. So it's something that the president and UDA really tried in the last campaign. We really tried to have politics of issue-based over politics of exclusivity and balkanization. But along the way, some people lost track and we were taken back. I hope as a country, we can take a different tangent and move forward as a country, that where everybody is on board. You know,
what does a different tangent look like for you?
It means that let us not make this issue to be about that the deputy must just come from the mountain. What is this so big about the mountain? What is this entitlement coming from? Because we want to have a country. You know, Trevor, I have a young kid. Every day I wake up, I pray that this kid grows up to see a country that he is not judged because he's a Luya from Busia Matayos. He is judged because he's a Kenyan who has merit, who has an opportunity, an equal opportunity as others. You know, You know one thing that people do not know? Do you know what that thing of saying shareholding and Mrima means? It means that if I'm born in this country, for me to go and compete for the scarce resources, I don't need education. I just need to come from Mrima, he'll get my 70% share. That's what it means. So those are the issues that we need to converse. I know it's a long conversation, but it's a conversation that we need to just bite the bullet as a country and have it. Let us not say, let us not pigeonhole the president that he must just get a deputy president, must get a deputy president from Mulima. No.
Okay.
Leave alone this entitlement that now we don't want it at Peleka huko. No.
Okay.
Let us just be free and accept that we are Kenyans. Somebody from Kuala can be the deputy president.
Yeah.
Will is here if the president today we are shocked that he's appointed the deputy president.
I can never go anywhere near William Ruto.
You know, and something else. Something else really. I was coming to my brother. You see, the deputy party leader of Safina Party has just told us that when they are campaigning as Safina Party, they will sign a contract, a commitment with their candidates and the electorate that when you are elected as an MP or as a governor, half of your salary will be chopped. That is a promise. But I am so shocked that again on this other side, when Willis is talking about the president, William Ruto, he says that the president is lying. You know, when the president makes a promise, it is a promise. And to hold him accountable as opposition, you need to remind him that you promised that you will deliver A, B, C, D. Have you promised? If you have not promised, come 2027, as Safina Party, they will offer alternative voice to Kenyans.
Okay.
So it's a promise. Don't call the president a liar.
No.
It's a promise. You have just made a promise here.
Okay, go on.
Just before Willis reply, there is something you brought up. You know, the same constitution talks about regional balance. You know, you have the president, who is the commander-in-chief, from the western circuit of the country, and Naivasha upwards, downwards. If you divide our country by half, the president comes from the west circuit, the deputy comes from the east circuit, and trying to balance. It's a principle in the constitution. It's not my innovation. And if you have the president from that part of the country and the third in command being the deputy, the speaker of the National Assembly from that part of the country, so also do you expect then the president, in his consideration this morning, which I think he has already done, will still consider that the second in command comes from that side? I mean, it's just, if we use the constitutional principles, you can arrive at the same outcome without necessarily bastardizing any community or trying to jeopardize any principles and values that we have.
Okay, Willis, you have a lot to respond to. I'll come to you in just a bit, but let me take a quick break. When you come back, there's also a lot of feedback coming through. We're still waiting for 9:30, where the Parliament convenes a special sitting. We know that there's a meeting at State House. There'll be movement from State House to Parliament. We'll give you an update what happens at that particular point. At 9:30, there's going to be a special sitting in Parliament. We'll take you there straight right after this. But for now, let's take a quick break. When you come back, I'll take your views. There's a lot of feedback coming through, and then get remarks from my panelists here, all right? See you in just a bit.